Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to have a little fun this time. We're going to do some linear quadratic systems, specifically one problem. Okay, so this was problem 6 from today's worksheet. And again, guys, please, the key thing with these problems, you can't give up. You got to just be meticulous. You got to go through step by step, avoid any silly mistakes. You know, one little mistake, of course, throws your whole answer off. But anyways, let's start with the second equation right here. And notice that if I want to solve this one, I'm going to actually solve for y. That's the easiest to do. Notice how y right there is already basically only a 1y, right? So we're going to solve for y here. So how about if we add 2 to both sides to start out with? So if I add 2, I end up with 3x plus y equal to 2. And then, to solve for y, would I not just go ahead and minus 3x both sides? Minus 3x. And so I'm now left with y equal to 2 minus 3x. So again, pause the video, and if you need to, make sure you understand how I solve for y. Okay, so now that we have our y, can we not take 2 minus 3x and plug it in for y? Now notice in our problems earlier today, we did a lot of solving for x and plugging in x. This time we happen to solve for y because it was easier, and we are plugging in for y. So there's going to be a little difference between this problem and the other problems. So now let's see what we have here. Follow the red with me, guys. So if you look at the first equation, it says right here we have 5x squared, right? It also says plus y squared, but remember y now is 2 minus 3x squared. Okay? It also says minus 5x. And then it finally says minus y, but wait a minute, y again is 2 minus 3x. And then finally it says minus 30 equals 0. Minus 30 equals 0. Okay, so now that we have it set up, we got to do quite a bit of distributive property and some math here. So let's first start with that right there. And I'm going to do my work, if it's okay, guys, down here in the bottom left corner. Okay? So if I have 2 minus 3x squared, isn't that 2 minus 3x times 2 minus 3x? And so 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times minus 3x is minus 6x. Negative 3x times 2 is negative 6x. And negative 3x times negative 3x is plus 9x squared. And so, rewriting the above equation, don't I have now 5x squared plus 4 minus 6x plus 9x squared. Again, you could have combined like terms of 6x's, but we'll do that later. Okay. What else do we have here? We have a minus 5x. And right here, hopefully you realize I better distribute the minus. So minus 2 and minus with that minus 3 makes plus 3x minus 30 equals 0. So again, guys, pause the video and make sure you understand all the steps so far. So now what? Well, we now just literally going to combine like terms. Notice I have an equation right here, guys, where there's no more y's, it's all x's, no more parentheses. I'm just going to combine like terms and see what I come up with. So I have a 5x squared there, a 9x squared there, so that's a 14x squared. Okay, what else do I have? Let's do the x's. Minus 6, minus 6x, minus 12x, that is. And then minus 5 would make minus 17x. plus 3x would be minus 14x, right? And now the only thing left are my numbers. So I have a 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 30 is negative 28, equal to 0. Wow, so finally I have a quadratic here, guys. Right? Everybody agree right here? I have a quadratic that I can solve using the quadratic formula. Now, I'm going to give you a choice here, however. We can solve this right now directly, or do you guys like the idea of maybe doing a Gcf factoring on it? Look what I get, guys, if I take out a 14. Okay. And then this right here, guys, you actually could factor that if you wanted to. But I'm going to assume the worst right now. Let's say you're struggling with factoring. Let's say you're not very good with GCF. Well, please understand that you could just take this quadratic and do the quadratic formula on it. Okay? And so, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Even though I could just do this right here and say A is 1, B is negative 1, and C is negative 2. All right, negative 2 there. That would be what I would choose to do. But some of you guys, again, are struggling with GCF. So if it's okay, guys, I'm just going to do the original quadratic there. Notice it equals 0 there, by the way. And I'm going to solve it with the quadratic formula. Okay? So I have another page here that I'm going to use. So here we go. I know I have 14x squared. Let me make sure I have it copied down right. Minus 14x minus 28 equal to 0. Remember, it has to equal 0 to solve it. Therefore, I know A is negative 14. B is 14. Sorry. A is positive 14. Sorry about that. B is negative 14. Watch your negatives, right? And C is negative 28. And now I'm just going to do the quadratic formula on it, right? So first let's set it up. I'm going to have the negative of B plus or minus square root. I'm going to take the B, negative 14, and square it. Minus 4 times A, which is positive 14, right? Times C, which is negative 28. And that whole mess is over 2 times A, which is 14. Now, let's, of course, clean up our problem here a little bit. Does everybody agree negative of negative 14 is positive 14? 2 times 14 means 28 in our denominator. Plus or minus. Now, let's do all of this in our calculator, guys. Okay? So, and again, for those of you that have your own calculator, hopefully you're very familiar with using the parentheses. But anyways, if you did it correctly, guys, notice right here, I know negative 14 squared minus 4 times 14 times negative 28 is 1764. And when I do the square root of that quantity, I get 42, don't I? Well, so now I know this all right here, including the square root, is 42, correct? And so now, let's come up with our answers. We know we're going to take 14 plus 42, divide 28. We're going to do 14 minus 42, divide 28. And that's 56 divide 28, which of course is 2. And this right here is negative 28 divided by 28, which is negative 1. Now remember, we were solving for, look at the blue, guys, we're solving for x's, right? So these two are my x coordinates for my solutions, 2 and negative 1. So pause the video if you need to. Okay, so now that we know x could be equal to 2 or negative 1, right? So x could be 2 or x could be negative 1. Let's now go back to our original equation right over here, because we now know that y is 2 minus 3x, correct? So therefore, y is going to equal 2 minus 3 times 2, and 2 minus 6 is negative 4. So one of my solutions is going to be x2, y, negative 4. Now let me change colors to purple. I'm going to do the negative 1 in there now. So I know y also is 2 minus 3 times negative 1. Again, I'm using the original equation in purple to the left there, right? 2 minus 3x. So that means 2 plus 3, which of course is 5. So now I know my second solution is x negative 1, y is 5. And those 2 points, guys, are my solutions. Okay, and now just for one bit of clarification. Sorry about the fire alarm going off, guys, but in conclusion to this video, I just want to clarify our answers. Okay, so again, we ended up with two answers, 2, negative 4, negative 1, 5, correct? So let's look at the graph of these two equations. And if you notice, guys, what we really have here is, if you look at the red shape, that's what we call an ellipse. Now in IM2, we definitely don't deal much with ellipses, okay? But that's an ellipse. It's kind of like a circle that's been squashed, kind of like an egg shape, right? It's actually the shape, for example, that our planets revolve around the sun, have an elliptical shape, okay? But anyways, the key thing is, guys, notice where the blue line right here, right? The blue line right here, crosses the red ellipse, right? And I guess I'm getting a little too messy, so let me erase that. But as you can see, they cross right up here at negative 1, 5, don't they? They cross right down here at 2, negative 4. Does that match the answers we came up with? Well, let's see. Did we not come up with negative 1, 5 and 2, negative 4? Awesome. So guys, again, apologize for the little alarm in the middle of the video. But anyways, I hope you watch this video, you study it, you take notes on it. This is going to be on the upcoming final, guys. It's only a month and a half away. So we gotta learn this. We can't blow it off. Till next time, bye.